I know we just did a video on how to create a relationship with your tenants that's one where they're sticky and they stay on, because we can all agree that that's really important. If you're a landlord right now, you want your tenants to stay in as long as possible if you're bringing them in at current rent. And the same goes for tenants. You probably want to stay put where you are for as long as possible, because it's a pain in the derriere to move all the time, or at the end of the 1-year lease term, which comes and goes really quickly, you may not want to be looking for a new place to live. So here are some tips for tenants, and maybe some of you won't agree with these, but here are my personal recommendations for creating a lasting relationship with your landlord. Number 1, communication works for both sides, for landlords and tenants. Be in good communication, whether it's by email, by phone, by text, whatever it is. Be sure that if your landlord reaches out to you, that you pick up the phone and that you are responsive. Odds are if the landlord's calling you, it's for some important reason, like they need to be able to gain entry to do some renovations or updates, or maybe there's the builder who's coming in to do some work on the new building that you just moved into. Whatever it is, it's possible that the unit owner needs to access their unit for an annual checkup, semi-annual checkup, or some repairs. Don't ignore those calls. Don't be that tenant. Give them access to maintain the unit that you're living in. Odds are it's going to be to your benefit once they're done and out. You're going to take some enjoyment out of whatever work has been done. Call on your landlord for major repairs, anything that's wrong in terms of plumbing or appliances failure, things like that. But don't call on your landlord for little things that you yourself can handle, like light bulbs. I cannot tell you how many times I see communication between landlords and tenants to change a light bulb, where that's actually in most cases the tenant's responsibility. So get familiar, find out what your bulbs are, make a list in your phone or on some paper so that if a bulb burns out, you can go out, grab them, and never have to bother your landlord for anything frivolous like that. Same with filter changes. Some condo buildings will do a filter change in the condo once a year. Is that enough if you ask me? Probably not if I'm living in a unit and breathing the air and there's construction around the neighborhood. So you know what you can do? You can buy some filters and you can change them every 3-4 months if you're in a heavy construction zone. But again, not something that you need to bother your landlord for. You can do this on your own. And if you're not sure how to change it, most property managers or maintenance people, superintendents will come up and show you how. Same as in a detached home. Your landlord is not going to send someone necessarily to change the filter. That's your responsibility. Lawn cutting, snow removal. That's a tricky one, where the Ontario Landlord-Tenant Board says that the landlord is supposed to clear snow and cut the lawn unless specified in the lease differently. Those are things that you want certainty about before you start into your lease. Remember, do this stuff well before you enter into, so there are no hard feelings or expectations or misunderstandings. And just be a good tenant. Pay your rent on time, because nobody, no landlord, no tenant likes to have that uncomfortable conversation about rent's due, you're overdue, or receive a notice for late payment. So try your very best to maintain your payments on time every time. If you're paying by e-transfer and your rent doesn't allow you, or your bank doesn't allow you to pay the rent in one chunk, then set a reminder to pay your rent a day before it's due so that you can start the installments. So by the time your rent is due on the 1st or the 15th or the 3rd or whatever day it is, you have satisfied your rent obligation to your landlord in a wholesome way. Stay out of trouble. Live in their unit like it's your home, because that's what it is. For the next 12 months or 3 years or 5 years, the place that you're living in is your home, and you want to have positive relationship with the person who owns it, because who doesn't want peace of mind?